My name is Darby Jardeleza, and I graduated from Emory in 2017. And I studied English and creative writing at Emory, and I'm currently working as a firefighter in Beaufort, South Carolina. I didn't have a job when I was about to graduate. Most of the people that I was graduating with had a job already, and I didn't. So I was a little disorganized and sad to be graduating because I really loved college and felt like I was just getting into the groove of things when we were leaving. Felt like I had met some of my best friends when I was leaving, but I moved back home that summer and was able to get a job back in Atlanta, which is where I wanted to go back to. And so I was working for Forbes Travel Guide as an editor. And I was going to work as an editor for a little while, but I ultimately wanted to get my MFA in creative writing, which I did. I worked at Forbes for about a year and then went for my MFA at the University of Texas in Austin, and was there for 2 years, and that was awesome. But then after I graduated from that program around the time that COVID hit. And so everybody was going on lockdown just around the time that I was graduating. And so I had been planning on going back to Forbes Travel Guide full time after I graduated from my MFA program, but they were letting everybody go because nobody was traveling because of COVID. So that kind of messed up my plan. So I went back home again and I was looking for a job, but nobody was hiring. So I was looking for something to do with my time while I was looking for a job because I was stressed out, and I was looking for volunteer opportunities, and one of them was volunteer firefighting. And I went out to try out for that and ended up getting offered a full-time position. And I've been doing that for 2 years. All volunteer and career firefighters in my department have to take a physical test, which is it's a series of tasks that simulate what you would have to perform on fire ground. Things like dragging hose or raising a ladder, hitting a sled with a sledgehammer, things like that. And the first time I took the test, I failed it. Most women fail it when they take it. Well, I've seen one woman pass it the first time she took it. And she's 6 feet tall, and I'm, for reference, 5 feet tall, and I failed it really badly. But when I met everybody who was there encouraging everybody taking the test, I was like, I love these people. These are I want to work with these people. I want to be friends with these people, because I did not really enjoy working in an office. And I was like, this is what I want to do. So I came back like at least 2 or 3 times a week for the next couple of weeks to practice. And they said they weren't going to have another test until like 6 months from then. But one of the chiefs ended up just asking me if I wanted to apply for a full-time position. So they set up an application. They gave me an application, set up an interview process, and then let me run the test again. And I passed it that time. I guess when I was in college, they give you the impression that you have to like make money off of the thing that you love the most. But I think that led me to believe that I should be making money off of writing, which is really hard to do, the type of creative writing that I wanted to do, and not necessarily what I would want to do. Like if I could be a best-selling author, that would be great. But I think I would still want to do firefighting because being a writer is like a very isolated job, and I don't really have an interest in, freelance editing full time. You need things to write about. So I certainly get a lot of material from having a job like this. And the schedule is fantastic. We work 48 hours on, and then we have 96 hours off. So it gives me time to write. And I guess you do have to find balance. You kind of have to set up your life so that you can make these two things work for each other, but it's not I think if you do it correctly and you love both enough, that they work each other out. I think before I started this job, I liked to write about families and family dynamics. And now after this job, it's not that different. It's just the department that I work at, it's a small department. We only have 4 stations, and everybody that I work with, we're all very close. And because we live together for 2 days at a time, it is like a family. And so what I am interested in writing about is that sort of family dynamic, which is it's odd and it's really funny. It's like a lot of funny notes that I take of things that the guys say. I write them down, and it's really moving the way that they support each other and they support me. And then we see a lot of things, like a lot of unbelievable things on calls, but it's mostly just about the interpersonal relationships between the crews that I'm interested in writing about now. So it's not that different from what I've been writing about before, which was families. I had thought that I was going to use my degree, and I'm not using it, but I couldn't care less. I think it's most meaningful because I couldn't have foreseen how important like a job in service would have been. I did have an issue like before where I felt like I didn't really have much of a sense of fulfillment. Like writing gave me a sense of fulfillment, but the jobs that I did just to pay my bills didn't make me feel like I was doing anything with my time that was valuable. And I wanted to feel like that. I think that not being able to find a job until I found the one that was right was important, even though it was like excruciating waiting. It means having a sense of ownership over my life. A lot of the times I feel like I'm like too close to, or I'm too in the weeds, and then I feel like I don't have any control. And then when I step back and I think about it, I'm like, I can quit my job if I don't like it. I can sign up for whatever class I want. I really can do whatever I want to do. And nothing is wasted, because as much as I hate to think of my trials or anyone else's trials as material, it's everything is of some use. And then I also think it's just this living creatively is giving yourself permission to do whatever you want, learn whatever you want, spend your time and money how you want, love who you want, listen to who you want, and read and like what you want. And I mean, I think that comes with the responsibility, though, of surrounding yourself with people who are different from you. Because if you only do what you want, then you're gonna be living in an echo chamber. The firefighters I work with are probably the complete opposite of my Emory friends. Some of them didn't finish high school. Some of the chiefs didn't finish high school, but they are some of the smartest people I've met. Like any problem you bring to them, they just come up with some wild way to fix it. And I just never would have known, because I had up until that point been a student my whole life. Firefighters are kind of geeky. Like working for a fire department is a lot like being in college, because you live together, you cook together, you work out together, it's kind of like living in a dorm. And then you have to take a lot of classes. You have to take EMT class, you have to take all these firefighting classes. It's a lot of studying. So it's sort of like that. And they geek out on medical stuff, on physics and chemistry and mechanics. And so talking about that stuff with them was a lot of fun. Probably what I said before, like you don't have to make money off the thing you love the most, but also just you're going to fail so many times and you're going to be okay. I've failed so many times in this job. And if you had told me before I started how much I was going to, I don't think I would have taken it on, but it's been like the best job I've ever had. So really think anything of it. I think when you find the right job and you fail, you're kind of just like, okay, well, bring it on. It's all right with me.